Shocking news from Emmerdale. Who attacked Caleb Miligan, and what does it mean for the future of the village? In this explosive episode, secrets unravel and loyalties are tested. Will the truth come out, or will it remain buried? Stay tuned as we dive into the drama that has everyone talking. You won't want to miss the twists and turns that lie ahead. Emmerdale finally ties up a shocking loose end in Caleb's stabbing, but what he learns next is even more disturbing. Just when you thought the dust was finally settling in the Caleb Miligan stabbing saga, Emmerdale throws us another curveball, and it's a big one. If you've been keeping tabs on this dark and twisted tale, brace yourself, because tonight's episode doesn't just deliver answers. It cracks the lid wide open on a whole new layer of secrets, and trust us, you won't want to miss a second. Caleb's frustration boils over, justice denied again. After everything he's been through, the betrayal, the near-death experience, the agonizing wait for justice, Caleb Miligan should finally be getting some closure. Instead, he gets a gut punch. In tonight's episode, we find Caleb at the Woolpack, stewing in frustration. He's just received a phone call from the police, and the news isn't what he or any of us wanted to hear. Charity Dingle, ever the straight shooter, spots Caleb's troubled expression and presses him for an update. Did they finally charge him? She asks, hopeful. But Caleb's response is a bitter pill to swallow. Have they heck? And they're not going to now either, because he's in Thailand. Talk about incompetence. Yes, you read that right. Sean, the violent mystery man who stabbed Caleb in cold blood, is gone. Just like that. Out of the country, out of reach, and officially out of the justice system's hands. Sean's shady exit. A puzzle that just doesn't fit. Charity, ever the sarcastic sleuth, throws in a zinger. What is he, some kind of international drugs baron? It's a fair question. How does a man who was just released on bail after nearly killing someone vanish so easily? Who helped him? And why? Caleb is just as baffled as the rest of us. It doesn't make sense, does it? He mutters, his mind racing. No, Caleb, it really doesn't. But viewers who've been piecing together the breadcrumbs know there's one very rich, very shady man who's likely behind it all, Joe Tate. Flashback. The plot to steal Caleb's kidney. A betrayal like no other. Let's rewind, because this isn't your average soap opera stabbing. This whole nightmare started when Joe Tate, yes, that Joe Tate, returned to the Dales with a scheme so sinister, it still sends shivers down our spines. With the help of the dodgy Dr. Crowley, Joe concocted a plan to harvest Caleb's kidney. You read that right. It wasn't about revenge. It wasn't about money. It was about survival. Joe needed a transplant, and he wasn't willing to wait around on a donor list. So what did he do? He hired Sean, a menacing enforcer with no moral compass, to kidnap Caleb and drag him, unconscious and unwilling, to a private operating theater. But things spiraled. Fast. Sean took things to a horrifying level and ended up stabbing Caleb in the process. The scene was chaotic, brutal, and unforgettable. But after Sean was arrested, Joe and Dr. Crowley knew the clock was ticking. Sean was a liability, a loose end who could unravel their entire operation, so Joe did what any desperate rich man would do. He used his vast resources to make Sean disappear. Gone but not forgotten, Caleb starts putting the pieces together. Joe might think he's in the clear. He might believe that sending Sean to Thailand wiped the slate clean. But he couldn't be more wrong. Because Caleb, he's not just angry, he's starting to get suspicious. And in tonight's episode, we see the first real signs that he's finally connecting the dots. Little things, offhand comments, strange coincidences, and that gnawing feeling in his gut are finally starting to click into place. Joe's facade is beginning to crack. And once Caleb starts digging, it's only a matter of time before the whole truth explodes to the surface. Why fans are hooked, the perfect blend of mystery and emotion. This storyline has gripped Emmerdale fans for weeks, and it's easy to see why. It's not just about the action, though there's been plenty of that. It's about betrayal. About trust shattered. About the horrifying realization that someone you cared about, someone you believed in, was capable of something so vile. Caleb's journey has been raw and emotional. He's not just a victim, he's a man trying to make sense of a nightmare, while dealing with the scars it left behind. Watching him wrestle with his anger, his confusion, and now his suspicions has been a masterclass in character development. And let's not forget Joe. His return to the Dales has brought with it a whole storm of drama. He's charming, calculated, and dangerous. The kind of villain you love to hate and can't take your eyes off. What happens next? A ticking time bomb of secrets. So where do we go from here? Now that Sean is officially off the grid, the immediate threat may be gone, but that doesn't mean Joe's out of the woods. In fact, it's quite the opposite. Caleb's starting to investigate, and once he starts pulling at the threads, everything Joe's tried to hide will come unraveling fast. And what about Dr. Crowley? He's been flying under the radar lately, but let's not forget, he was the surgeon behind the whole twisted plan. He may not have wielded the knife, but he's just as guilty, and he has just as much to lose. Could Crowley crack under pressure? Could he be the one to spill the beans? Charity Dingle, the unlikely confidant. It's worth mentioning that Charity has been a surprisingly steady presence for Caleb through all this. Their banter might be full of sarcasm and side eyes, but there's real warmth underneath. She listens, she pushes when he needs it. And when he vents about the police, about the injustice of it all, she doesn't brush him off, she leans in. There's something quietly powerful about that kind of support. In a village full of secrets, betrayals, and hidden agendas, Charity might just be the one ally Caleb didn't know he needed. Fan theories are flying, and they're wild, naturally. Emmerdale fans have been lighting up forums and social media with their theories. Will Caleb confront Joe, and how far will he go to get justice? Could Joe turn the tables again and frame someone else to protect himself? Is Sean really in Thailand, or could he come back with a vengeance? And what's next for Dr. Crowley? Will he stay loyal, or will guilt finally catch up with him? One thing's for sure, this storyline is far from over. Tonight's episode, don't blink or you'll miss a clue. If you're even remotely invested in this saga, tonight's episode is a must-watch. Not only does it confirm Sean's escape and Caleb's growing suspicions, it sets the stage for what could be one of the most explosive showdowns in recent Emmerdale history. Tune in at 7:30 p.m. on ITV1, or catch it streaming now on ITVX. And grab your popcorn because things are about to get messy. Final thoughts. When the past won't stay buried, Caleb Miligan may not have gotten the justice he deserves, not yet, but one thing's for certain, he's not giving up. And with each passing day, he's getting closer to uncovering the truth. For viewers, it's been a roller coaster of emotions, rage, heartbreak, disbelief, and now anticipation. This is Emmerdale at its finest. Bold, gritty storytelling that refuses to shy away from the darkness and reminds us just how far people will go when they're desperate. So buckle up, the ride's not over yet.